very excited about this opportunity in our community to dedicate and to place this permanent marker. We have heard so much about lynching in our community, particularly about the Austin Callaway case and the role that Reverend Strickland played. It is very appropriate to have this permanent marker be placed here by the families here at the site of so many of these historic events at Warren Temple United Methodist Church. So I'm very grateful on behalf of the community to the congregation and the pastor here at Warren Temple for allowing this permanent marker to be placed. It will give a permanent voice to the voices that we have heard and been reflecting upon inside the church. We're also very grateful for the role that the Equal Justice Initiative has played in the placement of this marker, as well as markers around the country. And we are thrilled to have Bryan Stevenson here with us, who is director of EJI, and I would like to give him just a moment to speak about the marker and the marker project. Bryan?
Well, thank you. Let me join the voices that have been raised to commend this community for doing what you've done. This is a great day for LaGrange. It's a great day for Troup County. We have been erecting markers all over the region. This is the 10th marker, 8th marker that we've erected, and I'm super proud that we're doing it here today. There were over 580 lynchings in the state of Georgia alone. And so today is really the first day of what I hope will be a continuing struggle to mark this history and to engage communities in the kind of work. We have a lot of reconciliation today. The marker is about the truth. I'll tell you one quick story and then we'll turn this over. I was giving a talk some years ago. I was in a church. And as I was talking, an older black man came into the church. He was sitting in a wheelchair and he was staring at me with this stern, almost angry look on his face. I couldn't figure out, why is this man staring at me so angrily? And I got through my talk and people were very nice. They came up to me. They were very appropriate. But the older black man sitting in a wheelchair kept staring, had that stern look on his face. And when everybody else left, he got a young man to wheel him up to the front of the church. When he got in front of me, that man raised his hand. He said, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I just looked at him. And he asked me again, he said, "Do you know what you're doing?" And I stepped back and I mumbled something. Then he asked me a third time, he said, "Do you know what you're doing?" And then he told me, he said, "I'm going to tell you what you're doing, young man." And that man looked at me, he said, "You're beating the drum for justice. Talking about our history is beating the drum for justice. Talking about our problems is beating the drum for justice." And then he said, "You keep beating the drum for justice." I was also really relieved because I just didn't know what was about to happen. And then that man grabbed me by the jacket and he pulled me into his wheelchair. He said, come here, I'm going to show you something." And he turned his head, he said, "You see this scar I have behind my right ear?" He said, "I got that scar in Greene County, Alabama in 1963 trying to register people to vote." Then he turned his head, he said, "You see this cut I have down here on the bottom of my neck?" He said, "I got that cut in Philadelphia, Mississippi, 1964, trying to register black people to vote."
They won't go vote.
He turned his head, he said, "You see these dark spots?" He said, "That's my bruise, got my bruise in Birmingham, Alabama, 1965, trying to register people to vote."
Yes.
And then that man looked at me and said, "I'm going to tell you something, young man." He said, these people look at me, they think I'm some old man just sitting in a wheelchair covered with cuts and bruises and scars." He said, "But I'm going to tell you something." He said, "These aren't my cuts." He said, "They're not my bruises." He said, "These are not my scars." He said, "These are my medals of honor."
All right.
This community has been cut and injured,
Yes.
bruised and scarred by racial violence that no one said anything about,
Yes.
by lynchings and terrorism. But today we are erecting this marker, and today this marker is not just the truth. It is not just a reminder of that painful, ugly, injurious past. It becomes a medal of honor that every person here can take pride in, supporting. This becomes the most honorable place in LaGrange, Georgia. Because it's the most honest place in LaGrange, Georgia. And your presence here turns it into that kind of medal of honor that we can all be proud of. Let the reconciliation continue, but also let the truth-telling continue. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for the support of this project.
Thank you. Yes.
What I would like to do is ask one member of each family that has gathered today to be a representative of the family of Austin Callaway, of Henry Gilbert, Gus Davidson, Louis Strickland. Ask one member of the family to come forward and join. And I'd like to ask Pastor Dominic, Bryan Stevenson from EJI to join me as we remove the drape that is over the marker. So if I could ask the family members to come forward. The names of Austin Callaway, L.W. Strickland will be reflected in a permanent place here to continuously tell their story and to be an embodiment of the story. And on the reverse side is a story about lynching that's throughout the United States and has other references to Henry Gilbert. So I hope everyone will have an opportunity to come forward and admire this permanent marker and thank the work of EJI. At this time, I would like to place a wreath at the marker on behalf of all citizens of LaGrange and Troup County. I'm going to be joined in this by the president of our local Chamber of Commerce, Paige Estes. And Paige and I are going to place this wreath together on behalf of all citizens of LaGrange.